How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the first part of the build series that we're going to be doing here on this gray 3000 GT. Just to start off, we're going to be taking the engine out, and we actually do have a buyer lined up for that. And then we're just going to go ahead and clean up the engine bay, get all these red spots nice and painted. We're going to tuck a lot of this wiring harness that you could see. And we're just overall going to make the engine bay a lot cleaner, get it ready for the new build that we're doing, which is actually going to be a single turbo 3.1 liter 6072. So yeah, let's get into it. Just to get started, for anyone who might be following along at home or just watching our videos, like a little guide. So my car has a battery kit in the back, so that and the fuel system is going to be a little bit different, but everything else should be just about the same. To start off, obviously you're going to want to remove your battery, the battery tray, and the positive and negative terminals hooked up to it. And then we went ahead and took off the air filter and then also the bolts holding this on. So the air filter and the battery are everything that we've taken off so far. Next, we're going to look at removing the throttle body and the upper intake. And then we're going to go and disconnect the fuel lines. And then drain the coolant and the oil and keep going. So I will show you the next part. Alright, so once you got the throttle body off, it's going to be these 4 bolts right here holding on onto the intake. And then it's going to be, you have to unplug this, the idle air control valve, I believe, the throttle position sensor, and then 2 coolant lines on the bottom. This one came off just fine, but then this one I had to tactically and surgically remove from the car. And then for this, you're going to want to pull it down. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Down, and then it should just pop out right through here. Alright, the next thing that you're going to want to go and do is take off the upper intake. So it's going to be 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to have a bracket here. And then this is the throttle body. So this is the throttle body side. You're going to have 3 plugs. That's going to have a bracket here. And then there's going to be 3 bolts on the back holding it on. And then you're going to have 2 nuts here that you're going to want to take off. And then as well as the bracket for the throttle cable. There's going to be a vacuum here and another small vacuum line here that you're going to want to disconnect. And then these 2 plugs as well. So we are now at day 2 of the engine pull. I forgot to record yesterday, but we went ahead and got a lot out, as you guys can see. I'm going to go over everything we took out, and the engine bay is looking pretty good to go ahead and pull this out. Now, some of the steps to take this out, take your engine out, might be a little different considering this engine did have an aftermarket fuel system there and already had the battery in the back. But aside from that, we went ahead and took off the lower intake manifold. It's held on by I think about 8 studs. Yeah, 4 on this side and 4 on that side. 8 studs. We're gonna have a plug underneath. I believe it plugs into the bracket that's usually sitting right here like that. We remove the 2 coolant hoses, the 2 lines going to the AC compressor. It's gonna be a bolt here and a bolt here. Then we went ahead and took off the wire harness that connected to the alternator. It's a bolt or a nut here, and then this plug here. Then we took out the radiator, which is going to be a bolt here and a bolt on the radiator, another bolt here and another bolt on the radiator. It's going to have the tube on top and the tube on the bottom that you're going to want to remove, and make sure to flush the radiator before that. There's also going to be the reservoir, the forget what mounts here, but there's going to be a bolt here. You're going to want to go ahead and undo your power steering lines. So the one to the reservoir, and there's another one back here that you're going to want to get. As for the wiring harness, there are going to be the 3 plugs here. Then you're going to want to get the one that goes to your cam angle sensor. There's going to be 3 plugs behind sort of to the right here on the back that you're going to want to unplug, and I believe that is the majority of them. If you're taking out your transmission, my wire's messed up here, as you can see, but you're going to want to take this off. And I believe that's it. And then you're going to want to take the shift linkages off, actually. And then you should be ready to undo the motor mount here, the transmission mount there, this motor mount, and the motor mount in the back. And then you should be ready to pull this engine out. One more thing I forgot to mention here is you're going to want to disconnect the exhaust. There's going to be 2 studs on each bank that you're going to have to go and unplug. I believe it is a 19 millimeter size, so you're going to take those off so you can pull the engine with the headers on. And that thing is now out.